Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Miss Jamila Freelain. She's the founder of Encouraging Words Academic Consulting. How you doing there, Jamila?
I'm good, and yourself?
Outstanding.
Great.
Tell the audience a little bit about, first of all, yourself. Jamila.
Okay. Well, as far as myself, Encouraging Words and myself are kind of one and the same almost,
Okay.
because this is like my baby. But essentially, I started in college admissions. That was one of the first jobs that I had out of college, and absolutely loved it, and continued on in that area. And so in college admissions, I did a lot of recruiting, advising, consulting, a little bit of career planning, all rolled into one. So my company now is an extension of those things that I've done, and I find it really fulfilling and rewarding because I'm helping so many people.
Great. Encouraging Words. Tell us a little bit about your program.
Well, it really consists of 3 programs. The first piece or component is where I either come into the home of a parent and student and work with them one-on-one so that we can develop a customized plan of action for that student that is college bound or maybe set for a vocational track, so either one. I also do community workshops, so I do a lot of college planning and career planning workshops in the community as well, so at churches, libraries, schools, that sort of thing. And then the third piece of what I do is partnerships, so partnering with organizations like youth groups, youth organizations, some agencies, that sort of thing, and providing consulting as well.
How long has Encouraging Words been in existence?
Well, it's actually been in existence just a little less than a year.
Okay.
As far as my experience in the industry, about 18 years I've been doing it. But as far as me doing this line of work under the umbrella of Encouraging Words, just a little less than a year. So I'm really excited.
What do you find to be the most exciting thing about being in this field?
Well, I think probably the most exciting thing is, I tell everybody, I strongly believe in education, and I think that more so than anything, education is a game changer for sure. And so what I find exciting about this is being able to help parents and students to kind of navigate through the process and give them a little light at the end of the tunnel where there may not have been any before. And then helping people to save money. I'm all about helping people reduce the level of college debt. That's a big mission of mine. So with a lot of the resources that I know about and different programs at different colleges, my knowledge about some scholarship resources that are out there and just other opportunities, I'm able to help parents and students save money. So I'm big on that.
When do you feel is the most important time for an individual to seek academic counseling?
Well, I generally start with students as early as the 6th grade. A lot of individuals don't start till high school or even 8th grade. I believe because students, especially now, are more advanced than, say, you or I were at that age. For that reason, we need to make sure that we prepare them earlier as well. By the time they're in 8th grade, they've developed a lot of the academic habits and actions that they're going to continue through high school. And of course, those things can be redeemed or changed, but if they develop some of those good habits early on, and then also establish an appreciation for education early on, it makes the transition that much easier when they get to high school.
As a parent, what would you tell me to be the benefit of my child getting this right now, this valuable information that you offer?
Well, there's a few benefits. One, I would say, I would probably ask them if they knew what their child wanted to do. A lot of times, they may not even have a clue as to what careers or passions their particular child has thought about. Some parents do know, others do not. And that's one benefit right off the bat, because what I do is when I'm consulting with students and parents, I do like a personality, I do a personality profile with them, and I really sit and talk with them to identify what their their gifts are really. And then from there we kind of build around that and put together a track or a strategic plan of action for them as to what colleges are most appropriate. A lot of parents, when they're doing college planning, just kind of haphazardly go about the process. They may go to look at this college or that college just because maybe that was their alma mater or cousin so-and-so went to this school, as opposed to looking at maybe how that school is ranked for the particular field that their child is interested in, maybe looking at their child's personality versus what their personality might have been. They might be a complete extrovert and their child may be a complete introvert. So the school that was good for this one may not be right for, their child. So I look at it overall and look at who the student is and then try to plan in mind. And I think a lot of parents don't do that. So that's one of the top benefits, is the fact that I put together a customized and strategic plan based upon who that child is or who that student is. And I would say that's one aspect. The other aspect is it's about saving money at the end of the day. I can't tell you how many individuals that I've run across that owe several $1,000s in student loans or just student debt, period, unnecessarily. Not because they're not intelligent people, but just for the sheer fact that they didn't plan ahead of the game. So if there's some things that I can do to help that parent and student circumvent some of those issues and challenges that they have just because they didn't think them through or they didn't know what they didn't know, then that's another benefit of my services.
That's great. As a potential student, what are some of the pitfalls that I need to avoid when searching for a college?
Some of the pitfalls you need to avoid? I would say some of the pitfalls are going to certain schools just because, again, your cousin, your sister, your brother, your best friend is going there. You've got to know what's right for you. So I would say that's a pitfall. Another pitfall is not having your game together academically before you go, because you waste money. And nowadays college costs about 3 times more than it did when you and I were maybe in school. And the thing is, with it costing as much as it does now, in my opinion, unless you just have money to blow like that, and I don't think most people do, then you need to be more on point and on target about how you're going to spend your time and what you're going to do in college. So back to your question of pitfalls or challenges, not being prepared academically is a biggie, because what ends up happening is, if you're not careful, you end up in transition classes or remedial classes. And if you have to do some remedial classes or transition classes before you get to the meat and potatoes of the regular classes at your school, they cost the same amount as a regular class, but they don't count towards your graduation. So that's, 3, 6, maybe 9 credits that you may have, squandered away just based upon you not being on point and not having prepared yourself on the front end in high school and being prepared academically. So those are some challenges, I would say.
Shouldn't the schools have someone there to prevent the child from doing, like what you said, like the remedial?
On the college level? Or at the high school level, you mean?
Well, the college level. Shouldn't they have someone, like an advisor or something like that? I mean, to avoid taking unnecessary classes?
Well, that's not an unnecessary class. That's a class that they would be required to take. When I'm speaking of the transition or the remedial classes, those are classes that college would require that student to take based upon the fact that they didn't gear themselves up properly on an academic level to be able to get into the regular or traditional classes at that college. So they certainly have people at the college that tell them, hey, you're going to be in the remedial class. And I shouldn't say remedial, but those are transition classes. Everybody has different challenges. But one of the biggest things that you can do to hurt yourself and to really waste money and time in college is to not really be focused on the front end and not having yourself together academically at the high school level.
So that sounds like a great reason for parents to get their child into that academic counseling that you provide
Well,
really in advance to get all this knowledge well in advance so they can be prepared.
I agree. I agree. Another, I would say, advantage is a lot of people, what is now popular is for them to maybe go to a community college or a junior college before they transfer on to whatever four-year university or college that they may have in mind. And I'm all for that. It saves some money. Typically, junior colleges and community colleges cost less money per credit hour than maybe some other schools that are out there. But if people are not smart or don't smart about how that's done, they can end up wasting or again squandering away more money. Before I began college advising many moons ago, I didn't know that there was a difference between let's say an AAS degree, an applied science, versus an associate of arts degree. If that student and that parent are not knowledgeable and they end up signing their student up for an AAS degree program, and if they haven't had the benefit of talking with someone like myself or a transfer advisor,
Correct.
they'll find that a lot of those credits will not transfer to that four-year university or college that they maybe had their heart set on. A lot of them will transfer, but a lot of credits may not. And so, if you're looking at a difference of transferring maybe say 60 credit hours over to the four-year university as opposed to, maybe 40 or 35 credit hours, which is, there's a big difference.
Correct.
That could be, depending on the school they're going to, that could be a difference of between $4,000 and $10,000, so it makes a difference to be knowledgeable ahead of the game.
I know you have a lot of seminars, counseling sessions. What are some of the key reasons we should come?
Well, to get some of this knowledge and some of this insight, the things that we're discussing right now aren't really taught in the classroom, or even knowing about some of the different college programs. There are so many different college programs that high school students can take advantage of where they get college experience. Sometimes they get free college credits or college credits at a reduced rate. And unless that's the sandbox they play in day in and day out like I do, then they're not going to know some of that information. And it just behooves them to get that information on the front end, because again, if you can get 3 credit hours over here, 6 credit hours over there, when you accumulate all of those, that's like really subtracting the cost of a whole semester of tuition off of your education. And who wouldn't like that? That's, the equivalent of, 2 or 3 scholarships. And scholarships are more competitive now than ever before because, the bar has been raised. So many more people are going to college now. So if you can do some things like that and be knowledgeable about some of those resources, which are some of the things that I teach in my work, well, not some of, those are the things that I teach in my workshops, then, certainly there's some benefits and there's a value to that.
Is encouraging words just for the younger generation, or is it, because we have a lot of our elder attending college now as well?
Absolutely. Yes, that's true. And no, encouraging words isn't just for high school students. Although the primary market, or primarily the people that I cater to are going to be high school students and parents, I deal with a lot of adults that are returning to school as well. As a matter of fact, the next workshop that I'm doing is focused on busy moms who may be returning to school, as well as assisting their kids who might be college bound.
Why do you think that's important, that busy moms be aware of these type things that you're going to be talking about?
Well, I think moms run the world.
Oh, God, here we go. Yes, y'all do. Mothers run the world.